Ah, Georgia, nature's favorite state. Let's hit the road and meet the farmers, producers, makers, and bakers who keep us all fed and keep us coming back for more. Straight ahead at the Fork in the Road.
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand.
Georgia farmers, artisans, merchants, and producers, we depend on these men and women every day of our lives through the choices we make and the food we consume. Their strategy and approach is always shifting, but the end game remains the same: results. These sunflowers are part of the family. So is this pig, these cows, these flowers, this kind of flour, and even these soaps. It often takes the whole family to run the farm, and they certainly depend on one another to make it all work. And the final product of that family combination can produce magical and rewarding results. Let's begin this episode down in Metter, Georgia, near Statesboro, to meet a family that has spread its farming and ranching fingers through counties all around this southeastern region of Georgia, the 920 Cattle Company. So let's start a family, buy some cows, a few pigs, add a couple of goats for the little one to enjoy, and a few lambs later on. Seems simple enough? Well, what seems like a children's story at first glance is a beast of a task, but it appears that Jared and Becca Creasy are the right couple to somehow make it all work.
920 was started from the marriage of Becca and I. September 20th is when we got married, and that's where 920 came from. All of this started back in 2014. We started in the cattle business, purebred cattle business, where we were selling embryos, purebred bulls, females. Brangus and Angus cattle is kind of the focus that we were on. We very quickly realized that the way we were culling animals, as far as not meeting the genetics that we were wanting, we needed another outlet for it. So we started selling some freezer beef here and there, and we saw an opportunity there. 2017, we were able to acquire a 75-year-old butcher facility. Since 2014, we've been told that we couldn't do what we've done, and we've learned a lot by being able to be told no, but at the same time, we were still able to make it happen. We have a purebred herd of animals, and then we have a commercial herd of animals. We diversify ourselves within each species, and that kind of gives us those separate and different outlets to be able to move that product.
It's a lot to manage, but it works out better for us and for the land because we're able to manage rotational grazing practices and some other land management strategies that otherwise we probably wouldn't if we were only a single species operation.
So the neat thing about when chickens are out in the pasture where cattle are, you can physically see what they actually do from a fertilizer standpoint, not just the chicken itself, but they'll actually go out and they'll scatter that manure pile. So instead of 6-inch by 6-inch impact, you have almost a 2-foot by 2-foot impact area.
Their home is the primary farm, where they raise a variety of animals. Their beautiful Great Pyrenees are on guard and loving their job on the open fields. The hogs taking care of themselves and landscaping duties in their section.
Some Yorkshire landrace cross hogs, you see some straight Duroc hogs, you see some Hamp hogs, and we try to incorporate about 4 to 5 different heritage type breeds. We find that that provides a more natural sugar within the meat.
There's also a few goats and sheep, and there's someone in particular in the Creasy family who has a vested interest in those sheep. Do you have a favorite lamb?
Franny. Friendly Franny. The registered lambs that we have here are registered in Finley's name, and this is the idea of teaching her sound business principles early on and letting her be a part of all of those decisions when it comes to breeding and culling even. She's 4, so she quote-unquote helps manage the lamb flock. Essentially, a percentage of all of the revenue that comes from the land goes back into a savings account for her, and the opportunity for her to then invest that down the road. She enjoys it, so it just works out.
And Home Base isn't the only farm in operation. They have fields scattered all throughout South Georgia. well maintained, and tailored to raise cattle in a low-stress environment.
We're about 65 miles from what we call our home farm or headquarters farm. We're at Mac McGee's Slace. We've got cattle over here. Purebred cattle is kind of what you can see behind us. Mac has been a blessing to our family. We met Mac probably 8 years ago now. Mac's part of the family, and we're thankful to have him.
Why is it important that he has this relationship with the cattle out here?
Pretty much when a cow is calm, you can do anything in the world you want with them. Conception rates are higher when you have calm cattle, when you have cattle that are just docile, which puts more calves on the ground, which in turn puts more money back in all of our pockets.
It looks like out here they have their choice of what comes out of Mac's hands. They have grass, they have trees.
These cattle are spoiled. They, from the nutrition side, they pretty well get whatever they want. Animal husbandry goes a long ways, from the time we do the breeding all the way to the end. When you take the time to understand livestock, when you take the time to understand how animals move, how they eat, how they function, it goes a long ways. And you can tell that from the quality of the meat. You can tell that from the tenderness of it, the fat content in it. You know, we are a grass-fed, grain-finished operation with everything that we do.
920 is also unique because they invested in a processing facility. Here they process their own meat as well as cows and hogs from other Georgia farms. And the folks working here are like extended family to Jared and Becca.
What do we have going on here?
Mr. Willie, he just pulled some bellies and some jows out of our salt cooler. He's pulling the skin off of it. He'll slice it up. We'll weigh it by the pound and pack it up.
All right, Mr. Willie's been here, he said, since 1978. I guess he knows what he's doing.
That's right, he knows it. He can do it with his eyes closed. We have everything, beef, pork, and lamb. We grow everything ourselves. We butcher it ourselves as well. It never leaves our hands till it's in yours. We're in the salt cooler now. This is where everything gets cured and laid down. Right here we have some pork bellies, some fat back. Each customer gets a number on the skin of whatever they're getting cured. And right here, this customer has some hams, some bellies, and some hocks. Here we have our beef cooler where all of our beef hangs. We usually let them sit for 10 to 14 days, depending on the fat ratio. You know, everybody fills out their cut sheet the way they want it cut. We'll butcher it up for them and get it to their doorstep.
Probably 6 months after acquiring the butcher shop, we became a USDA inspected facility, allowing us to ship and sell across state lines. And that's huge. Like that allows us to really not just gain experience from a butchering standpoint, but it allows us to be able to have those relationships with those customers from across the country, across the world.
The 920 Cattle Company continues to grow. Varieties of meat are sold from the shop, from the truck, and of course online. In the next stage of growth is this beautiful new catering kitchen and event facility located on the edge of this pond right off I-16 in Metter, Georgia. So with their house in order and just about every animal other than ducks in a row, the Creasy family and their 920 Cattle Company is off to a great start and seem to be growing fast. A special brand that operates responsibly, humanely, and is all about family. From Metter, we journey west to Pitts, Georgia, where golden flowers shine like the sun, and just about everything around here is pressed to perfection. The chugging of the train can be heard just a block or two away. The streets are peaceful and the corner shop is open for business. And what a beautiful little shop it is. Welcome to the station, home to Oliver Farm Artisan Oils, and so much more.
This is a converted gas station. It was built in the 1960s by Mr. Homer Lee Connor. The family decided to sell it, and we said, hey, this is an opportunity to put a business in Pitts and bring people to here, a little attraction, filling the store with all the people we had met through shows and markets that we've done across the country and in the state of Georgia especially. 90% of everything here is a Georgia grown product. And not only do we like the products, we like the people, we know them, and so that makes it so much easier.
People have loved being able to come here and just buy gifts for others. They love knowing they're supporting others. And we love supporting all of these people through here too.
The fields that create the flour and the oils are a sight to behold. 2 times a year, these stunning sunflowers bloom, open up and reach for the sun.
I started growing sunflowers for oil in 2012. I bought a press in the fall that year and began pressing. We tasted the oil and just realized, wow, this is so fresh and so unique to what we were used to tasting, that it just became a passion to do these oils and to create more, to try more flavors. We start in the spring and then we plant the sunflowers. It takes about 60 days for the sunflowers to bloom. It's almost like clockwork, you can count on it, these varieties that we do. In about 90 days, the flowers will have begun drying down. The heads, they shrivel up and they look ugly. They bend over to protect the sunflower seed from birds and rain getting in the seed. And then when those are dry enough, we come in with a combine and harvest them. And then once they're cleaned, we take them to the press area, then we begin pressing the oil out. Sunflowers are just a beautiful crop. I mean, they grow so fast, they're vigorous, they're scavengers for moisture and for nutrients in the ground. The seed are going through the funnel down into a chamber here, and there's a screw inside, and that screw is pushing the commodity forward. The way it's designed, just friction and pressure, it's squeezing, squeezing, squeezing until it sends that sunflower seed out of that nozzle. Everything just minus the oil. And then the oil's coming out here out of these ports and going into a container, which we'll then put into a larger container and let it begin to settle. The key though is to keep the oil where it's cool. You don't want the oil to get over 120. That's what causes a breakdown. We use the same presses for everything, and you know, they're easy to disassemble. I can totally disassemble, submerge, and we don't have the fear of cross-contamination then. So we found that the expelled meal after it's been defatted is a high-quality animal feed. So cows, goats, I feed it to deer. It's a well-balanced ration.
The sunflowers turn heads, but all of these oils cause taste buds to erupt. Clay and Valerie learned quickly that the oils they were drawing from these sunflowers and their green peanuts were just what chefs were looking for.
I sent a sample of our peanut oil to Chef Steven Satterfield in Atlanta, chef of Miller Union. When he tasted the oil, he was like, wow, this is green. It has a green popping flavor. And he kind of coined it as green peanut. And what we began to realize is that what sets our oil apart is that we use high quality grade A peanuts versus oil stock peanuts, which is what most store brands are going to be made from, your oil stock peanuts. We take the high quality peanuts, there's nothing wrong with them, run them through the press at the low temperatures and the flavors retained. And that's something these restaurants weren't used to. And to have them call and have like a first name basis relationship with them is pretty cool to say, like, he or she is at the top of their game and they're using our product to make their dishes. That makes us feel really proud.
These oils got this company rolling, but that's not the only specialty product offered by Oliver Farm. Along with tasty popcorn that you can cook in their award-winning oils, well, you could say they just go from flowers to flour.
So this is pecan flour. After we extract the oil from the pecans, then we mill what's left down into really, really fine flour. It's naturally gluten-free. It still has a flavor of pecan, so to use for pastries, like brownies, cookies. We even do pancakes with them, and they're delicious. And it's gluten-free, so people who need that or want that option, it's available. We've pressed probably 13 to 15 different seeds and nuts. We're always up to try new things, though. We're pressing okra seed now, which is pretty popular with chefs and just foodies alike. That it's a new, unique flavor that they haven't had before.
Yeah, I tell people it's like okra without the slime.
I like that.
Yeah.
Good, good.
Sunflowers are a beautiful crop. I mean, you can't help but smile when you walk out into a field of wide open sunflowers. And to have several acres of them together, I think is a sight most people are not accustomed to seeing around here. And so to just have that green and then the bright gold yellow, yeah, it makes you stop. People call, they'll call all year long wanting to know if we have sunflowers blooming and can they come see them. We decided this year to add a little adventure to the sunflower fields. And we created a QR code that people could scan with their smartphone, and it gives them 8 to 10 points of interest around not only Pitts, but out on the farm and in the country as well, that they could see old buildings, an old jail. They could visit the sunflower fields. The oil shop where we make the oil is one of the stops on there.
Being out in the country and just enjoying it.
We take it for granted what peanuts are, what the plants look like, what cotton plants look like. Let people take control of their own little adventure.
And we still think there's so much in these small towns to be offered too. So it's meant a lot to us.
From sunflowers, green peanuts, almonds, and pecans to Benny seed, popcorn, and so much more, this creative couple is working day and night to deliver this quality, healthy product, mostly grown from rich South Georgia soil, available for those willing to try something new and tasty. From the station in Pitts up to downtown Jackson, Georgia, where Oliver Farms Artisan Oils have found yet another great purpose, keeping us all so fresh and so clean. This beautiful historic home right off the square of charming downtown Jackson, Georgia is home to Poppy the pig. Poppy lives in this garden with some chickens, a couple of cute cats, and a stunning field of flowers that she would very much like to destroy. Yes, Poppy runs this flower farm that once had corn until Poppy ate it all in one day, but that was a lesson learned for Hannah Thompson.
Pig-headed, she's a ham, she's a pig. These are all real, they're certainly rooted in truth.
Who has brilliantly started a business that kindly works around Poppy's destructive tendencies.
Okay.
And guess what? She's doing fantastic. Welcome to Gold Lion Farm.
Potbelly pigs, they're hungry as hippos. She has one mode, which is she is always hungry. My background is in product management, so I've worked in specialty cheese, specialty food for about 15 years. I was in the shower, I was looking at this inexpensive body wash. I looked at the ingredients, didn't understand anything, not one of the words. So wrote out the ingredients and spent the day and a half, doing my research on all of the ingredients, and to find that was not the safest soap that I could be using for my skin. So what I did was I looked up a recipe to make soap, and I found the most old-fashioned, most gentle soap was something called egg soap. It's about a 150-year-old recipe, and I happen to have chickens, and so I took Pearl's eggs, which were a beautiful blue egg, and I made my first batch of soap for my family. It was all natural, and it ended up, after curing for about 4 weeks or so, ended up being the most gentle, most pleasant soap. So at the time I thought it would make great gifts, and everyone raved about it. They all suggested, I think you've got something here, why don't you sell these? And that's really, for us, how we got started.
These products perfectly reflect Hannah's personality. She and her husband Cameron obviously put their heart and soul into this venture. Chef Cameron, in fact, is the talented culinary director of the highly acclaimed restaurant Farm Burger, which we'll discover in another episode. So his attention to detail and presentation is a perfect match for the world of soaps. Yes, many of these soaps come straight from this farm with a few extra local and pronounceable ingredients. But she also creates a line of soaps that represent different places in Georgia that she and Cameron have visited. The Land of Milk and Honey has ingredients from Georgia goat farms and apiaries in the middle part of the state. The hike of Track Rock Gap is filled with ingredients from Georgia's mountains. And the sale of Frederica River soap comes packed with ingredients from Georgia's pristine coast.
We use a ground oyster that gives a little bit of friction, a little bit of texture for a hand scrubbing soap. And then of course we use essential oil of cedar. We use essential oil of eucalyptus. And what those two fragrances do together is kind of give you that aroma of the Atlantic Ocean.
And a line of Georgia-based soaps wouldn't be complete without a soap full of peaches.
We use Pearson's peaches. There's a lot of personality. They have the greatest selection of peaches. And we kind of have learned how to approach other farms, how to experiment, and how to keep ingredients extremely simple. I think for us, simplicity is key.
Many varieties of flowers for these soaps successfully grow in the Thompsons' backyard garden. And from these flowers, Goldlion can provide a variety of bouquets for special events.
This is called a celosia, so it's got that wonderful, almost coral reef type shape, and which is extraordinary when you put this in a bridal bouquet or as a centerpiece.
These flowers and other garden blooms are also a favorite for restaurants all around this region and Metro Atlanta.
This is amaranth, and amaranth is an ancient grain. What's really magical is the restaurants that like to purchase this. They will heat it up and it pops. So it actually pops kind of like popcorn, and then you'll have a beautiful popped amaranth that has that really rich sort of native grain, much more toasty, oaty kind of flavor than you would find in a popcorn, but very, very unique.
Many crops that used to grow on this Goldlion farm are no longer possible because of one of the local residents. Of course, that's Poppy, who eats their crop creativity as soon as they become edible. But even with all of the pig on a farm negatives, there's one big plus, mainly for the soul of this place.
Does Poppy have a purpose here other than cuteness?
Oh my goodness, that's such a good question.
Yeah.
So Poppy is a 15-year commitment for us. She is our lovely pet. We're charmed by her. It has given us more of a farming foundation, you know, to see the creatures interact and to wake up at 6 a.m. and to feed the pig and the chickens and kind of be outside and sort of gets the day started in a really special way.
Goldlion is quickly becoming an important part of business growth in the Jackson community. They've now opened a store right downtown that offers these soaps, along with several other home goods made by local craftsmen from all around the Jackson, Georgia region. And there's even the Craft School of Jackson, where Goldlion hosts classes on a variety of arts, including weaving, painting, holistic healing, creative writing, and of course, soap making with Hannah, armed with her stash of Oliver Farm sunflower oil.
So today we're going to be making some of Goldlion Farm's bath bombs. And what we specialize in really is very simplistic ingredients. We have a baking soda, a cornstarch, a SLS, which is made from coconut oil, and then a little bit of citric acid. Together, these make a beautiful, fizzy bath bomb that's very soothing and soft on the skin. The one thing I like to do with my bath bombs is I like to add essential oils. So I'm going to be adding the sunflower oil until I get that consistency that I like. We use Oliver Farms sunflower oil. Not only is this an incredible bath and body product, it's a great culinary oil. First, I'm going to add my essential oil, so I'm using eucalyptus here. And then spearmint. Now, you may not know the difference between spearmint and peppermint, but spearmint does not have menthol in it, where peppermint does. So you'll find that peppermint can be overwhelming. So really don't put peppermint in any of our bath products. These are some of our flowers from Goldlion Farm, all organic. So today we'll be using celosia. And celosia is just a fabulous, fabulous little flower. We'll pack that in.
All these made the same way, one at a time?
One at a time, everything by hand. And voila, a masterpiece. So, you know, yeah, aren't they beautiful? To me, they're like when you go to a great party and they have the little petit fours, you know, the little beautiful desserts. There's something about the handmade process that just has that level of detail and uniqueness that you wouldn't find when you get a commercially produced bath bomb.
It's an impressive business run by an inspiring couple in a collaborative community where Poppy the pig runs the show, but the Goldlion soap itself steals the spotlight. So from soaps and oils to farms full of a variety of animals, including happy cows and well-fed pot-bellied pigs, these Georgia families work hard to bring the best of their family farms into your home. I'm David Zelski. See you at the next Fork in the Road.